rob nobody.
J'ai rien
If
volé.
I allegedly
Si
rob
j'ai soi-disant
somebody,
volé quelque
they gonna
chose,
charge
pourquoi
me
on m'a
with
pas accusé de
attempt
tentative de vol
robbery. If
alors?
I attempted to
Tenter,
rob
c'est pas
him, I
voler.
didn't
Alors
rob
pourquoi on
him.
m'a foutu en prison,
What was I
bordel?
locked up for?
The parallels that exist between both the
Les
rapper
similitudes
50
entre
Cent and
50
the original
Cent,
50
le
Cent
rappeur,
are
et le
ironic
vrai
to say
50
the least.
Cent sont pour le moins ironiques.
This candid profile clarifies
Ce portrait n'embellit rien mais nous éclaire sur les mythes qui entourent ces méfaits et certains des épisodes ayant mené à sa fin prématurée. Ceci est l'histoire vraie de Kelvin, 50 Cent, Martin, la légende urbaine qui inspira l'un des plus grands noms du rap, The Original 50 Cent. Je suis à la cité Fort Greene, près du centre de Brooklyn où 50 Cent a grandi. Mais en fait, il n'y a pas de cité Fort Greene. En réalité, Kelvin Martin a grandi ici, à Ingersoll Houses, tout près des immeubles Walt Whitman. Pourtant, pour les New-Yorkais, ça fait partie de la célèbre cité Fort Greene. Désormais, moins tristement célèbre, les rues de Fort Greene sont aujourd'hui longées d'arbres, équipées de neufs, et sont loin de ressembler aux rues des années 80, à la criminalité omniprésente et aux squats délabrés des drogués. C'est pourtant ici, et au plus fort du raz-de-marée de crack à New York, qu'un homme se mit à terroriser les gangsters les plus notoires de la ville. Équipé d'un gilet pare-balles et d'un arsenal d'armes, il tua, vola et racketa les plus gros trafiquants de Brooklyn. Truand sans pitié, il incarna une version moderne de Billy the Kid, affirmant qu'un jour, il serait riche ou mourrait en tentant de le devenir. On l'appelait 50 Cent.
I'm like a gangster from Fort Greene Project.
50 was a stick-up kid, very unpredictable.
Everybody knew who 50 Cent was.
You may have had a name also, but you can get it.
If you had money in your pocket and jewelry on, you tried to cross the street and avoid.
50 Cent was not afraid of anybody.
That's what made him so dangerous.
It's a lot of people walking around now with scars on them because of 50.
All his fighting was in his trigger finger and razor.
Then took losses because of 50.
Straight robbing people.
And some people ain't here because of 50.
It's either you kill or be killed.
He blasted a few.
50 was a little short guy.
Short guy, you know, small.
Like 5'2", maybe 120 pounds, man, soaking wet.
We dubbed him as the little bastard.
I didn't hear anything good about this person.
Just was a little nigga that was just running wild.
That's how 50 lived his life.
That's the type of person he was.
I'm the same kind of person 50 Cent was. I'll provide for myself by any means.
Fort Greene, à Brooklyn, où 50 Cent a grandi, a beaucoup changé ces dernières années. On a donc demandé ses impressions à un habitant du coin.
Hi, my name is Bobby. I'm from Fort Greene. We're out here on Myrtle Avenue. This avenue has a lot of history. This neighborhood itself has a lot of history in it. Myrtle Avenue was famous for raising hell, selling drugs. Everything was on this avenue. Whatever you wanted, you could have found it out here. From marijuana to LSD to acid to heroin. Everything was on this avenue. The avenue and the neighborhood has changed dramatically because I believe it's because the college students, they put a college here. It has gotten better since the 80s. The original 50 Cent comes from Fort Greene. He was a hellraiser back in the day.
Une véritable légende. Tout le monde a son histoire sur 50 Cent.
The craziest story I heard about 50 Cent, like I said, this is just a story. He was going up and down Myrtle Avenue to every liquor store, sticking them up. I mean, he would go from one liquor store to another, to another, to another. Just rob them. He would have $1,000 in his pocket and he would still stick up another liquor store. You know, he was just like that. He didn't care. He didn't care. I don't think 50 Cent cared about 50 Cent. And like I said, the story was he went from liquor store to liquor store, right up here on Myrtle Avenue. In one day. And he was walking. He had no car. He just went walking from one liquor store to broad daylight.
If you
Ceux qui traînaient devant la bodega ou chez le coiffeur de l'avenue Myrtle connaissaient ses mauvaises habitudes et redoublaient de prudence. À juste titre, parce que je vous le dis, quand 50 Cent arrivait, l'enfer débarquait avec lui. Ce mec était si violent qu'il avait toujours sur lui 2 énormes revolvers. C'était un flingueur né des temps modernes. Ses agissements d'adolescent meurtrier étaient dus à son goût pour l'argent facile, mais aussi à un véritable tempérament sanguinaire. Certains disent qu'il préférait voler des gros bonnets, les Macs, les trafiquants, les dealers et même les célébrités du rap. 50 Cent, après un coup, venait souvent se cacher ici, à Albany Housing Project. DJ Scratch, un ancien de EPMD, se souvient bien.
Everybody know, except for the new generation right now, you know, 50 got down. Besides what he had to do on the street, he was straight up and down dude. We used to come through my hood, Albany Project, with the gold Jetta. When the Jettas first came out, like, the Jettas was the shit back then. Yeah. He's the only nigga to have him, MC like Milk and Giz. They're the only ones that had the Jettas.
Un des précurseurs du rap, Eric B était l'ami et le confident de 50 Cent.
I met 50 probably was in 86, if I'm correct. 85, 86, around there. 50 Cent was just anybody and everybody. Your next door neighbor, the guy you hear about, you know, the street legend, your friend, you know what I'm saying, your brother. It's so many different 50 Cents, you don't know which one came to the party.
Oh man, I heard 50 Cent a long time ago, you know. It's like, it's just certain niggas, they like made niggas.
If there's such a thing as a verse in a menace to society, he was it.
An old school hustler who made his mark on the streets
comme il se
of
fait appeler,
Brooklyn,
un ancien trafiquant qui a marqué ce quartier de Brooklyn, a assisté au carnage provoqué par 50 Cent à l'époque.
The first time I ran into 50 was we went to Giant Stadium. They had a concert with Rick James, and then when the niggas from Bed-Stuy went there, and they robbed the whole stadium, yo.
I always told him he was the college legend. Like, he used to stand by the college and rob everybody at the college. And all the guys that I knew from Long Island used to, yo, 50 better not run up on me. Then I'd be with 50. 50 said, Eric, I robbed that dude. And I'd laugh at them like for the rest of the week.
Un autre des complices de 50 Cent était le célèbre One Arm Monk, un ancien du secteur des Diamantaires de la 47e rue.
Alright, I'm gonna tell you about 47th Street. 47th Street is like this. It's a place where anything that you steal, rob, take off the streets, motherfuckers bring it up there and we buy it. It's like a Manhattan fence that's really watered down, but nobody know that. And like a lot of people I met came through 47th Street. Either they done robbed a jewelry store, they done robbed something, and they had something worth a lot of money that the streets couldn't pay you.
How'd you first meet him?
He would like rob somebody or something, bring the chain up there. I would hit him off, buy it off him, give him some money or whatever. And if I couldn't buy the stuff or it was too expensive, I would send him to one of the jewelers, you know, who I work with.
Tout comme Clyde avait Bonnie, 50 Cent avait Cheryl, Blackie Ray.
I met 50 Cent in a skate ring, actually. One of my friends had an altercation, and I was pressing him to do something, like, you know, get at this guy behind his watch. His watch dropped off while he was skating, and we knew who picked the watch up, so it's like, come on, get your watch, man. Why not get your watch? And 50 Cent, I don't know where he came from, but he was telling me to mind my fucking business. Like, why don't you mind your business? If he don't want his watch, leave the watch. Why don't you mind? And, you know, we had a little thing, you know, we had some words, and that was it. And the next time I saw him, we were in the skating ring, and we looked at each other, and it was like, yeah, what's up, what's up? And from then on, it kind of clicked because we knew the same people.
He'll roll by himself, or sometimes he'll have some little guys little than him. I remember one guy he had, they called him 25 Cent or something. Somebody little than him, he had a little dude with him.
Every time I saw him, he was by himself, or he had followers. He had people that would basically, get my coat, come here, dude. He had followers, or he was moving so fast by himself.
When he came through the projects, he never came through here with anybody. He used to come through by himself.
With mad niggas.
Nah, he used to come through by himself.
Word.
I never saw 50 with anybody. Anytime I saw 50, I always saw him by himself. Never. Wow. And you know back then, back in the 80s, you come to a nigga projects, you coming like, especially if you coming to see a chick. You know what I'm saying? Especially like that chick might not be fucking with niggas in a project, so a nigga from outside the project.
Wow.
You know niggas be mad about that.
Stupid.
He never got no fever from nobody.
How did Calvin end up with the name 50 Cent? I don't really know how he got that name 50 Cent, but I expect he got it because he was a short guy, because he was little.
I think he got it from Jimmy Dice one day. He made a bet of 50 cents, and they say he walked away with $500 that night.
Was he locked down when he changed his name?
I think in jail, he might have got a wind of the 5 Cent Nation, but when he came on the streets, he might have got into it deeper, because in the 80s, 5 Centers was like the Crips and Bloods is now. It was like something to get into, and some people took it seriously, and some people played with it.
That was the thing to do in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? It's either you on the left wing side or you on the right. Or you rocking with the righteous people. You know what I'm saying? You try to change your life, and you try to do things that, you know, coincide with being righteous. But, you know, 50 he come down to the mosque, want to rob somebody down there.
Knowing him was like, you know, he was a wild guy, like crazy. I think because he was short, he figured he had to be wild and crazier than anybody else to get respect.
His thing was to be at the person that everybody else thought was so much. That was the way I think he gained that respect, because those same people that were respected on the other side, that's who he went at.
He was the kind of guy that, like a lot of hustlers would be hustling, and because he was wild, they would have 50 under them for protection.
He had like the most notorious cats that get respect out here, you know what I mean, on some body nigga shit or whatever. Like, he had them niggas up like shit. So
that little dude.
I remember we had a party and everybody from Brooklyn was at the party, and 50 was standing out by the tree with a mask on. And I came around the tree, I said, 50, come on, dog. Don't nobody know it's you? You the shortest dude around everybody, and you got a black mask on and standing behind a tree like nobody don't know it's you. Nah, Eric, I'm gonna get these dudes right here. Yo, 50, come on, dog. We ain't come for all of that, man.
Everybody else might have been trying to get a drink at the bar or trying to smoke weed. He didn't either. He didn't drink, he didn't drug. So he was always very coherent, like alert, where everybody started to slow down at the end. You know, in the middle of the party, everybody's mellowed out. He's still focused on what's what, or what could go on now, or who could be got.
50 didn't trust anybody. I don't think 50 trusted his own self when he woke up in the morning. He didn't trust anybody, and he always felt that everybody was out to get him.
He would always keep a gun on you.
50 was a little short guy that carried 2 guns, a 4.5 long and a 357 long. The guns probably were bigger than 50.
He just thought he was I don't know the right word, a gun, you know, like a connoisseur of guns, you know, taking it apart, putting it together.
That's how 50 lived his life. It's either you kill or be killed. You know, some people in life are suckers. Some people are some people are robbers. You know, some people are murderers. You know, 50 thing is, yo, I'm gonna get you before you get me.
If you had to estimate how many people that this man murdered, how many would it be?
I might know maybe like 30 people, maybe he might have did some work on.
So this nigga was an outlaw. I mean, you can't just tear up 30 people, you know, whether they're alive or dead, and just, you know, shit be all right.
Les activités de Kelvin Martin devaient bien se finir par un séjour sur l'île de Riker, à New York, dans le tristement célèbre centre de détention pour mineurs C-74. Le jeune Kelvin se retrouvait en terrain hostile mais familier. C'était la première étape sur le parcours de sa carrière criminelle. 50 Cent ne se démonta pas devant la bande de genoux qui commandait la prison. Un des codétaux de 50 Cent était James Rosemont, alias Jimmy Henchman.
When I met him in jail, I didn't even hear nothing else about him until after he left, you know, the penitentiary. The scenario was kind of, you know, I ran, you know, C-74 on the Jamaican side, on the West Indian side, and who he was running with was a bunch of Bed-Stuy and Brownsville guys.
So when y'all seen each other, there was a mutual respect there?
50 was one of them cats who, not knowing who I was, and I had some jewels on.
Stop playing, you tried to press you.
He didn't even try to press me. The fact was that I seen him talking to a few dudes trying to ask him who I was and why was I allowed to have so much jewelry on in C-74.
Say word.
So in fact, that's what made me kind of notice him. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because when you adolescent, especially when you're in them youth camps like that, you kind of got to be alert and know, you know what I'm saying, fill your surroundings out at all times. Of course, I felt it was safe to walk the hallways alone with my jewelry, you know what I'm saying? In fact, at one point, he came into the house that I was running and immediately asked to get transferred. That's something that anybody would do if he know he's outnumbered and don't want to be in a house that, you know what I'm saying, where the opposing side is at. I don't think it was more of a punk move, but it was a strategic move on his end.
It's better to be safe than sorry. That goes for everybody.
Oh, without a doubt. And that's how it was on Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? You know, and he was one of them guys that anybody from 83 to 85 that was on the island knew who 50 Cent was. And he was a small dude, and I was a small dude too, but you knew that he had put his work in, though. You know, you just knew that.
Did y'all ever cross paths after y'all two got released?
I ended up doing like close to 5 years. In fact, it was 5 years, and he had went home. So he really made his bones at that time in Fort Greens and the surrounding areas at that point. You know, I started, guys would send me pictures from the streets, and I would see pictures of him and certain other cats. You know, they would show me pictures of them or send me pictures with him and them with jewelry on. And at that time, jewelry was a big thing. If you was able to wear a quarter-piece medallion, you had to be a bad motherfucker, if it was silver or if it was gold. Yeah. So, you know, when I'm looking at these pictures, you know, this is around like 86, 87, and I'm seeing 50 with a neck full of jewelry, you know what I'm saying, at Albee Square Mall, you know, which is one of the toughest neighborhoods, you know what I mean? You know, I was like, oh, so dude is making his bones. And he was wild enough on the island that you knew that he would probably, you know, put some work in on the street.
Et en effet, il travaillait. Peu après sa sortie de prison, il a repris ses anciens rackets, mais en montant d'un cran et en s'associant avec une bande de trafiquants du quartier, appelée The Supreme Team.
There was a crew called the Supreme Team from Fort Greene. That's where 50 Cent and the original 50 Cent originated from.
What it was, we was all friends and family. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, you know, Rap, Supreme are my dudes, and these dudes were under Rap and Supreme.
From the Lugo brothers in Fort Greene to the Supreme Team that ran with 50 Cent and the whole crew.
If you go back and look at the history, and on our Paid in Full album, 50 Cent is on the back of our Paid in Full album. You know what I'm saying? Supreme, Rap, you know what I'm saying? 50, you know what I'm saying? Those were their dudes. You know what I'm saying? Supreme and Rap, those are my dudes. And this was an extension of the family.
He didn't have any parents. He didn't have no upbringing. You know, he was raised basically in the street.
Rap was 50's mentor. You know what I'm saying? And Rap taught 50 all about the streets and the ins and outs of the streets. Supreme Brother Rap is one of those guys that you've never met in your life that feared nobody, nothing, and nothing at all. You know, that was his thing. If you was the police, or if you was the nigga next door, yo, dog, you respect me and I respect you. But if it's on, it's on.
You should be shootings out here every night. You find at least one body on this avenue every night. They were trying to put back into the community, you know, like they would rent a store, you know, and try to put back into the community. But at the end, I think the crack epidemic got everybody.
Certains affirment que Kelvin, un des piliers de l'entourage d'Eric B, double à Hakim pour un de ses coups de collier. On dit même qu'ayant vu LL Cool J faisant le Mac à Brooklyn, il lui raquetta un collier en or massif. Qu'elles soient vraies ou fausses, ces anecdotes faisaient partie de sa légende. 50 Cent le savait et n'hésitait pas à utiliser ses mythes. Mais, malgré sa violence et sa réputation de gangster, il y avait une facette plus tendre à sa personnalité.
50 Cent was a very, very good friend of mine and the godfather to my oldest son. And a special person to me.
Né en juillet 1964 d'une mère célibataire brouillée avec son père, Kelvin Martin était un enfant précoce avec un goût prononcé pour la lecture. À 8 ans, sa mère l'envoya seul faire un trajet de 2 heures en bus jusque chez sa grand-mère paternelle. Kelvin passa donc son enfance dans le Bronx. Il allait à l'école et jouait au basket dans une communauté à majorité portoricaine. Les gamins plus âgés du quartier le surnommaient Petite Flèche, car, enfant, il était déjà dur et toujours élégant. Sa tante, Patricia, que l'on voit ici pendant une période plus calme, a refusé d'être interviewée, mais n'a pas été avare de détails sur son neveu et ses vies parallèles. D'âge proche, ils étaient comme frères et sœurs, mais pas dû être strict avec lui puisque sa mère était trop vieille pour lui courir après lorsqu'ils emménagèrent à Ingersoll, à Brooklyn. Son ami de cœur, Cheryl Ray.
I would say the nature of our relationship was more brother-sister. And yeah, like definitely a brother-sister. 50 Cent had a problem with everybody I ever talked to. If he didn't rob them and then they wouldn't come back around me, or he would do something until unless he thought that person was right for me. Like, okay, you could be with him.
New York était très violente dans les années 80. Martin était donc très protecteur avec Precious Colston, sa petite amie adolescente.
One of the things I was thinking about, can you describe in your own way what our brother was like?
You know, everybody was talking about 50 Cent, 50 Cent. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking he about 6'2", 280. This was my image of this 50 Cent because, I mean, every time I would hear something about him, it was, you know, this guy. I was in Abbey Square Mall and I think I was on the 2nd floor. And Trinity Jewelry Shop was downstairs. And as you walk out, you know, you could look straight down. And there was about, like I say, about 15 of them. But you know, he always was the littlest, but he stood out. So it was a couple of my friends or whatever. And they like, that's 50 Cent. And I looked over, I'm like, that. And I just laughed.
He didn't have a problem with having a girlfriend, and the girls that he really cared about were not the ones like me, were not the ones with the big earrings or the gold teeth or the boosters or the jostlers. That wasn't the girls he was really attracted to. He was attracted to that girl that was going to school.
Let me leave it to you. What did you see him?
He was my best friend. He was a damn good lover. He was a compassionate person, very charming, loud, good-hearted. He had the kind of sense of humor that would just actually charm Halle Berry mama's shoes off.
And one thing about 50, he laughed about everything. Laughed about any and everything. Everything was funny to him. And he'd have a good time. His thing was, yo, let's go to the party, let's have a good time. Then he'd be like, oh shit, there go them niggas over there, I robbed him and him. Yo, let me go get my gun.
I mean, he always was a happy person. Bad situations, he still made him happy. He always had a joke, something behind it. It wasn't like a depressed moment for him.
Why did he have so much beef?
I mean, I have heard a lot of things, but his street life, I never was involved with. You know, what he did outside, that was outside. When we was together, that was our time, you know.
Precious and Kelvin got so close
Très
that he
proches,
moved into her
ils emménagèrent
family's small
ensemble dans le
apartment
petit
right off
appartement de la
Atlantic
famille de
Avenue
Precious,
at the Albany
sur les hauteurs
Projects
de
in
Brooklyn,
Crown Heights,
quand elle tomba
after
enceinte.
she got
Sa
pregnant.
première fille,
His first daughter,
Makia,
Makia,
était
was
la
the
prunelle
apple
de
of
ses
his eye.
yeux.
But he also had a
Mais il
special
aimait
place
aussi
in
la
his
fille de
heart
sa
for his
tante
Aunt
Patricia
Patricia's daughter,
et l'aida à
who he
l'élever.
helped raise. A family man in
En fait, il aimait la vie de famille et était très protecteur avec les siens. Les voisins l'adoraient. Et d'ailleurs, il n'eurent jamais à subir la violence ou la cupidité qui firent de lui un redoutable lascar.
Not long after we became friends, there was a girl on I don't want to say where because she probably figured out it was me. She had a Louis Vuitton bag and I wanted a bag. I didn't have a designer bag and I only saw, and he gave me his gun. Go ahead, go get it. I'll come with you. Just take the bag. Take it. Why not? Take it. And I think that was the first time I ever really had a gun in my hand and knew if I pulled this out, and I had him there with me, and everybody's 50 Cent, you know, they was so busy looking at him, they didn't even notice I had a gun or took her bag. They were so concerned with who he was. So that kind of made me feel like, wow, this guy got a lot of power.
He was with you all the way. He ain't gonna give you 90%. He gonna give you 100. So, I mean, he was down for life.
There's a side of him that people just, I don't think they ever knew. You know, a very caring and concerned side. He didn't show it very much, but you knew it was there. He could come in and not talk to me and have a stroller for my son, or a bassinet, or a water cooler full of change, and maybe not even say a word, throw it down and leave.
50 Cent was very unpredictable, but if he had loyalty to you, you know, his loyalty, he'd ride with you until you die.
You ever seen any fights he was in?
Nah, he wasn't a fighter.
50 Cent was not a good fighter. If he being a man and I'm being a woman, if we could go toe-to-toe for a minute, he's not a good fighter.
Was he a touch-off?
I guess he did what he had to do.
Thank God I've never been shot, and I've been very close to him with a lot of situations. I mean, like actually walking towards him while he's shooting opposite me. And, you know, all we could do after that was fight. Like, why would you shoot with me coming across? That was this kind of stuff we would fight about.
Regardless to the street attitude that he had, that attitude wasn't towards me.
The friendship had gotten to that point that I knew, regardless of us fighting today, he was still gonna be there with me tomorrow.
So he was able to shut it down.
Yeah, exactly.
And become who he needed to become at any given moment.
That's why he was so unique.
And very intelligent.
I mean, he can speak other languages. So it wasn't just, actually speak Spanish. Not just, you know, a couple of sentences. He can flow with it.
Was he a heavy reader?
Yes.
Yeah. Revolutionary books?
He wouldn't read I call them like those ghetto brown books, like those kind of books didn't interest him. More or less history. He would send different people to pick up books for him, you know, stuff like that.
50 wanted to be everything. You couldn't tell him that he wasn't. He wanted to be a rapper, he wanted to be a DJ, he wanted to be a stick-up man, a getaway driver, you know what I'm saying, police officer. He wanted to be any and everything.
I already know that you had, like a very dear relationship, and I know that he was happier just as the way that we're made, you know, when we found love, you know. But were you able to see it in his face?
Oh, my family loved him. My mother, my sisters, they loved him. Anybody that have ever really had a one-on-one conversation, I wouldn't care if it was beef, whatever. If you knew him, you knew beyond anything that he had a big old heart.
He wanted to be welcome. You know, he would give my mother some change, maybe, you know, we would eat, leave money. He was very respectable. He had manners. You can tell he was raised with morals and values and you know, opening the door, taking his hat off.
I think his grandmother raised him, from what I understand. And, you know, what can an old lady do with a young man in the streets of Brooklyn?
I knew his brother, B, and I knew he had a daughter.
In fact, Kelvin's second
En
daughter
fait, la
Shakia
deuxième
never
fille
had
de
the
Kelvin,
opportunity to
Shakia,
meet,
n'a
but
jamais
is
eu
a
l'occasion de
huge fan
rencontrer
of the
son père.
rapper
C'est une
50
fan du rappeur
Cent, yet
50
knows
Cent.
little about
Bien
her
qu'elle
dad
sache peu
except
de
that he
choses
had
sur
a
son père,
ruthless
sauf que d'après la rumeur, il
I
était
spoke with her and
impitoyable.
her mother
Je l'ai rencontré
about
avec sa
the
mère et
original
nous avons
50
parlé du
Cent.
vrai 50 Cent.
Let me ask you a couple of questions about your dad. What kind of stories you heard?
I heard many.
More good than bad? More bad than good?
More bad than good. I would say more.
Does it matter to you?
I was blessed with the opportunity of meeting 50 Cent's, this woman, the old lady, and his daughter. I ran into him, they came to one of my shows and shit, you know, and I really, like, when I met, I was excited that they were excited. You know what I'm saying? Because I took, like, when the people you grow up, like, there's a lot of names I could have picked, man. It's a lot of them out there. You see what I'm saying? And I picked that name, and I think when the world says 50 Cent, that she smiles and she's happy. That's my daddy, you know? It reminds her that he was a special person. Regardless, you know, to how people view your situation, hell yeah, he's special.
I see it this way, like, everything happens for a reason, you know, so like 16 years later for, you know, 50 Cent the rapper to come out and, you know, out of nowhere just, you know, take my father's name. There was a reason for that.
She knows that it's taken after her dad, so it's a constant reminder of who her father was. And if those people who didn't know, who didn't get a chance to come across this guy, understand, and that's the significance. But I knew everybody wouldn't know who 50 Cent was immediately. Not everybody, you know, but there's a class of niggas out there that know exactly who you're talking about and have 100 stories for you.
What was his biggest dream?
Well, he had a lot of those strong ones, though.
What was his biggest fear?
To be honest with you, he feared no one. From police to the boys up the block, around the corner, down on the other side. He didn't fear them.
But they feared him.
Yeah, quite a few people did.
50's biggest fear was being blown up because we talked about the way he would die. And I thought somebody, you know, I said somebody's gonna strap a bomb to you. I mean, they're not gonna just shoot you because he had already been shot so many times before that. And I said, they're not gonna shoot you. They're gonna strap a bomb or something to you and let your ass just blow up to pieces.
Tandis que sa réputation de loupard grandissait avec lui, Curtis Jackson accumulait les malheurs. Élevé sans père, sa mère fut assassinée dans des circonstances absurdes. La rumeur dit qu'elle a été tuée au cours d'une rixe au sujet d'une dette envers des membres de la Supreme Team qui contrôlaient la plupart des deals de drogue. Curieusement, cette bande du Queen aurait hérité son nom de la Supreme Team de Brooklyn, qui contrôlait la plupart des activités illicites dans le quartier de Fort Greene, bande dont faisait justement partie le vrai 50 Cent 10 ans auparavant.
I took the name 50 Cent because I wanted to have a name of somebody that would have said something to me if I met him. You know, and it still says everything that I wanted to say. You know, without saying much, it says gangster. It says Fort Greene Project, it says a lot.
When I heard about this rapper 50 Cent, actually my oldest son was listening to some music in the car, and I was like, wow, that sounds pretty good. Who's that? And I'm like, Ma, you know 50 Cent? I was like, 50 Cent's dead. What are you talking about? I said, no, this is 50 Cent. I said, no, your godfather's dead. And he, I just, you know, wanted to see where did he get this name from? Like, what made him able to carry this name? 50 Cent. Do you know who 50 Cent is?
You know, that's an unusual name. So when I first heard that there was a rapper called 50 Cent, it always kind of made me wonder, did he, one, know 50 Cent? Did he imitate the name or get the name from this guy, 50 Cent?
I don't sugarcoat this shit, you know what I'm saying? They ask me, I'm like, yo, I'm named after a gangster from Fort Greene Project.
When 50 first came out, he never really told anybody how he got that name. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna take a name, if you're gonna, take a name from, from somebody who put in work like that, who got a rep like that, who got respect like that, you need to always big that person up.
What was wild is I didn't think of the name and then make a record like mine. Like, but a lot of people, just so happens that the first record that I put out that was notable was How to Rob.
Right.
And because he did his thing like that, they thought, oh shit, but I got one from Rakim, I got back, yo, that's the hottest shit I've heard or seen so far. You see what I'm saying? Just because, he had that relationship with Doe, and he was like, yo, that's it.
I basically just left it alone because his music was good, and I saw him to be a very good artist, and he was maintaining the 50 Cent's name, but on another level.
They are from another era. They older. You know what I'm saying? I was like 12. I'm coming out on the strip when I was 12. My mom, that's when I started hustling.
I don't know his history. I don't know what he did in the streets, but I know he's a good rap artist. If 50 Cent was doing rap, I would see him being good like that.
Considered by many to be one of rapper Jay-Z's primary mentors in the streets of Brooklyn, Calvin Klein got his nickname from the original 50 Cent and was one of his earliest partners in crime.
Calvin a écopé d'une peine de 15 ans qu'il purge dans une prison fédérale du Sud. C'est de là qu'il nous parle de son vieil ami.
The artist 50 Cent and the 50s I know, I mean, the comparison that I was seeing them is that, the drama that circled around their life in general. I see Son go through a lot of trials, and he got a lot of controversy built around him, you know what I'm saying? And, that's the same way that, the original one had.
The people from that world, the niggas from that level, understand it and they respect it. You know what I'm saying? And it's new to the world. Because everybody then wasn't totally aware of it. So that's why I got to constantly remind them.
He does it now, but he wasn't doing it at first. You know what I mean? But I guess he didn't know that people knew about 50 like that. You know what I mean? Like, big respect to him because 50's from Queens and 50 from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? So, which is kind of hard, but that's a big honor. On 50, God bless his dad, from a Queens nigga to take the name of a Brooklyn nigga. 50 from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? So, which is kind of hard, but that's a big honor. On 50, God bless his dad, from a Queens nigga to take the name of a Brooklyn nigga, which don't happen. You know what I'm saying? Either it's rap or just on some street shit. You know what I'm saying? So, love 50 for that. Like, that's my dog.
His presence is definitely bigger because I chose to use that name. And that's what makes it special. If I name myself fucking Al Capone, a nigga wouldn't shake my hand. You see what I'm saying? If I ran into this nigga, or you name yourself fucking Gotti, still the big opportunity to take a shot at it any chance I get, man.
I'd rather you rock with a black dude than you rocking with, John Gotti and all these other dudes. You can't really relate to what they do. You know what I'm saying? Yo, if you're gonna idolize somebody and you wanna rock, where 50 Cent took the name, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather you rock with a 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying? Or Fat Cat, Pappy Mason, or all of these different dudes that had different elements from the street that are really strong, but they are great people all the way around. Of course, rock with them.
What name you would say matched his personality?
And the only reason why I picked this name is because I have really, really thought about a lot of things that this person say. And I would think Tupac, honestly. From a one-on-one with me and him, he was that deep, I mean, the words that he would say, I never heard nobody else say them words until I started listening to Pac.
In contrast to today's rapper, not saying any names, a brother, we're talking about a brother who was really like that. And then we hear lyrics about portraying a certain lifestyle. Was he more true to what's being said now back then?
He's more realer to what the rappers rap about than what the rappers really be about now.
If you listen to some of Biggie's music and they talk about snatching chains in the Roxy's, I don't remember any of them, and I was there snatching chains in the Roxy's.
You see a lot of different artists that come out and they'll tell you, I'm like this, I'm from the hood, or I'm like, this is how I do, I'm gangsta. gangster or whatever, but you can tell as soon as you look at them niggas not from that vein. You know what I mean? Because they emulate what they was afraid of. You know, see a nigga with his face tough all the time, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You see me grinning most of the time.
Rightfully so.
C'est compréhensible. Avec plus de 12 millions d'albums vendus dans le monde, des contrats de plusieurs millions de dollars de sponsoring, une pléiade d'entreprises lucratives, on comprend que Curtis Jackson ait de quoi sourire. Écrivain et expert en culture pop, Touré nous explique comment 50 Cent a réussi à rentabiliser la criminalité.
50 Cent is just providing you the image of the drug dealer, like nice and packaged and glossed, and you know, you can take it home and like, wow, he's a real hardcore crack dealer from Queens.
Since 12, I learned to provide for myself with that situation.
There are very, very few rappers who are current criminals, who are also criminals, who have other jobs as criminals.
With a title like Get Rich or Die Trying, I felt like from an average working class person saying they're gonna get rich or die trying just means that they're determined and they ain't gonna stop for nothing to get what they gotta get, you know, and people, for me, because of my lifestyle ahead of it and the things that they've heard about my life, makes them think that I mean it literally, but I do.
There are some rappers who have been criminals. There are some rappers who people who become rappers and then they are forced into situations by, you know, people attacking them or things happen.
Niggas know my track record ahead of music, you know what I'm saying? And it's not that a nigga gangster was #1, but a nigga is real with it.
So many people seem to think that there are a lot of guys who are on the mic and are, you know, dealing coke or, you know, and I just haven't seen that.
Les similitudes entre 50 Cent, le rappeur, et 50 Cent, le truand, sont pour le moins ironiques. Pourquoi choisit-il de prendre le nom du membre le plus sinistre de la bande au lieu de celui des huiles comme Demoncio ou Killer Ben, le seul mec de Fort Greene à avoir un nom graffé en son honneur?
If this 50 Cent that's here now, what he's rapping is what my 50 Cent was.
When I first started hustling, I used to have to tell my grandparents I was in an after-school program in order to get the extra 3 hours to be in the street.
If he's rapping what he's lived, I guess it's a comparison life.
L'ancien manager de la star du rap Chaz, alias Slim, nous donne son opinion sur le rap de 50 Cent.
The 50 Cent from Fort Greene, I didn't really personally know him, you know, but just to keep this shit straight, that, you know, but you know, like how the hood is, you know, we get fucking accurate information on people, and the things I've kind of heard, you know, he had kind of like a grimy reputation, you know what I'm saying?
I'm from Queens, but I had niggas around me that they were in that age bracket, so he was seriously relevant to them.
50 Cent the rapper, you know, I know 50 because I'm from Southside, you know, Queens, and 50 came to me a while ago because, you know, I kind of understood his music.
I fell in love with this shit in '97 and been crazy about it.
I knew him through the Columbia situation. That's when I was involved in Trackmaster stuff, and you know, we began to talk about, you know, his career, whatever, and we decided on a handshake that I co-manage him. You know what I mean?
I'm on Columbia Records, and I get $65,000 in advance when I do the deal. $50,000 goes to Jam Master Jay. $10,000 goes to the attorney that negotiated the release between me and Jay and my new deal with Columbia. I got $5,000. I bought 250 grams. I was right back on 134th, got broke. But I had a little boy, my son on PC7 right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta take care of this little nigga, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I gotta do what I gotta do.
You know, his music, man, was like music that I kind of understood, you know what I mean? Because he was talking about shit that, you know, I kind of lived, and I kind of really, like, was feeling, you know, what his music was about.
I don't listen to a nigga like a critic and be like, yo, that shit's whack. I hear something hot, I'm like, damn, son, that shit is hot, I'm doing it over. Right away, and give them my take on it. You know what I mean? So if it's mine, my shit is my shit. Your shit is our shit. We gonna share that. Cause I'm gonna put it back on the street before niggas can get used to you.
He would say certain shit that he, you know, like, fuck it, whatever the consequences are, you know? And I'm not saying he was a killer or nothing, but I mean, physically he would handle himself. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, you know, he wasn't scared to, you know, to knuckle up with a motherfucker that, you know, he wasn't like that.
Yeah, some niggas are weak, no matter what. You see me in my situation, when you look and you say 50 Cent, you say G-Unit, you see I'm the head of the situation. Because I created the situation. Because niggas didn't believe in the situation.
50 had, actually he had a song called The Ghetto Quran back then. I told him actually, although the concept was hot, and I told him that wasn't a very good idea, you know, to put that out, you know.
What was his response to that?
He didn't do it at that time.
Oh, okay.
But 50 actually, you know, as he goes along, 50 is one thing. He might respond one way at a time, but in 50's mind, 50 does what 50 wants to do, you know, right or wrong.
There's two different kind of people. There's people who do the wrong thing and enjoy doing the wrong thing. And there's people who provide for themselves by any means. I'm the same kind of person 50 Cent was. I'll provide for myself by any means. If I'm starving, you'll see a different nigga.
In the song Ghetto Quran,
dans la chanson Ghetto Quran, 50 Cent cita le nom des plus gros dealers de son quartier et même certains de leurs coups les plus tordus, violant ainsi un vrai tabou dans les cités.
I think that he did it like really because he was really like kind of like, I don't know what to say, proud to be from Southside, but he was proud to be from where he from, like anybody else, and he was repping his hood. But if you notice that, in I think one of the newspaper articles, they had the lyrics from the song. You know, the law enforcement, when they hear shit, they take that as truth, and it could come back to haunt you.
Voilà ce qu'il dit. Quand tu entends parler du quartier sud, tu entends parler de la bande. Les négros avaient peur de Prime, c'est respecté Prime. Je vais y aller franco avec les mots du boom. Prime amassait le fric et Prime s'empilait les cadavres. Il cita même les noms de ses potes. Je vais me choper de la thune comme Chaz et piquer des caisses comme cigares. C'est ce genre de lyrics qui exposèrent ces hommes à une surveillance accrue des autorités, mais qui valurent aussi aux rappeurs le ressentiment des gangsters les plus notoires de la ville.
He did it, you know, like he didn't do it with that understanding. He didn't understand it as, you know, dry snitching situation. He again was paying homage to his hood, and that's what he thought he was doing.
I'm happy to have went through the things that I went through then, because I'm happy to be who I am today.
Pour ne rien arranger, 50 Cent était déjà amplifié avec Jao et sa bande au sujet d'une rixe entre les deux camps qui avait eu lieu au studio d'enregistrement Hit Factory, au cours de laquelle 50 Cent et son associé furent amochés et poignardés. La situation empira quand les deux hommes portèrent plainte auprès du commissariat du 53e district, tout près du studio. Après avoir consulté un avocat, 50 Cent se dit qu'une plainte pourrait rapporter des millions de dollars au tribunal au lieu de quelques centaines de milliers à l'amiable. John Gotti traite à 50 Cent de nonchalant.
We actually, you know, just dissolved the relationship, you know, just prior to, I think, one of his first incidents in the Hit Factory. You know, me and him, you know, just parted on a handshake.
The niggas just from that era teach you. You see what I'm saying? That I never was trying to be intimidated, because that gets your head blown up.
Peu après, Curtis Jackson faillit laisser sa peau contre un tir à 9 reprises, alors qu'il était dans sa voiture devant la maison de sa grand-mère, à South Jamaica, dans le Queens. Dans la rue, on disait qu'un membre des Supules ou des Murder Inc. aurait participé à la machination, et cet homme, Darrell Boom, alias Homicide ou Amo, aurait appuyé sur la gâchette. L'ironie veut que Amo, un meurtrier avéré, soupçonné d'être un tueur à gages, était un ami du vrai 50 Cent. Personne ne fut inculpé. Par chance, 50 Cent, le rappeur, survécut.
After I healed up and everything, when I was back, you know, I was running around bulletproof vest guns every day, just because I didn't have an option. Music, who says the music is gonna work? You know, to this point, it's always ended up in another space for me. You know, this is the third deal I'm doing right now. The Shady Aftermath. I said, this gotta work now. But before I gave that a shot, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was rapping just because because I love the music.
On the hit single, Many Men,
Dans son
50
hit Many
Cent
Men,
says, quote,
50 Cent
in the Bible it says,
la
what
Bible
goes
dit
around
qui sème
comes
le vent
around.
récolte la
Almost shot
tempête.
me,
Hamon
3
m'a
weeks
tiré
later,
dessus,
he got
3
shot.
semaines après, il a
Now
été
it's clear to
descendu.
me I'm
C'est
here
sûr,
for
je suis
a
ici
real
pour une bonne
reason.
raison,
He got hit
car on a
like I
voulu
got
nous buter
hit.
tous les deux, mais lui il ne respire plus. Ici t'as même Chaz, mais par son autre surnom, Slim. Slim m'a frappé dans le dos, il a laissé faire ses négros. Je croyais qu'il était réglo. Mon pote, pourquoi tu veux ma peau?
I just want to be clear on something. You know, I'm on the same side that I always be on. You know, I'm not here to bash 50. I'm not saying that he's a snitch. You know, but when people say you're a snitch and you don't call me to clear it up, there's nothing I can do. You know what I'm saying? And when you don't return my calls, there's nothing I can do.
The two men as
Les
of yet
deux hommes
have
ne
not
se sont pas
spoken.
reparlé depuis.
Why has 50 become a street legend?
I guess with the rapper 50 Cent, you know, saying that he got his name from this guy from Fort Greene and, you know, not just to say because of him, he has always been internationally known before the rapper. But I guess he just put a little more icing on the cake.
After I met with his woman, I felt like and from her conversations, you know, that they did expand a lot of the shit. You know, of course he was the gangster that they say he was, but a lot of shit they added to it.
If 50 Cent, the rapper, was here with 50 Cent, the gangster, would they get along?
They would probably get along, but 50, the gangster, would probably try to extort him for using his name. I could see that.
The little bastard?
The little bastard would try to get paid off the rapper because he used his name, or I'm 50, you're not 50. It would start like that. And then it would be money involved. He would start it so he could get some money from the rapper.
And if the rapper didn't pay?
More than likely it would be a problem.
For whom?
Calvin Martin, étant passé maître dans les petits délits, voulut s'essayer au gros coup.
50 was a thorough nigga. The late 50, anyway, I'm talking about, you understand me? No matter all the crud bullshit that he did, you understand me? He did it his way and no other way. Reason for me saying that, son, is this, yo. He broke all the motherfucking rules back in the days, yo. Back in the days, us niggas had certain codes that we go by. He used to say, man, fuck them codes, yo.
Sadly, 50 Cent started robbing just about
50 Cent commence à dépouiller n'importe qui, surtout les plus gros trafiquants du coin, même ses amis. Mais évidemment, les hommes comme lui n'ont pas d'amis. Il n'y a que des complices qui n'ont pas encore doublé.
He violated the move, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it cost him dearly, you know. That was like certain situations, you know, no matter how much you try to, like, correct it, you know what I mean? I had so many people try to step in and try to, like, you know, correct it. Certain situations, you know, when you violate certain people, you know what I mean? It's just like, there's no way of correcting that. Really, at that point, nobody else ever really seen him no more after that.
Extortion.
Les arnaques du début le menèrent à la fois à l'opulence financière et à la ruine personnelle. Drapé d'or, les poches pleines d'oseille, paradant dans une Volkswagen Jetta, la soif de richesse de Kelvin fit de ses frères des victimes et de son monde la boue. Il avait trop tiré sur la corde. Il n'était plus intouchable dans le ghetto.
50
Cent quitta Fort Greene pour se cacher et trouver du réconfort ici, à Albany Project, auprès de sa copine.
What really led to his demise?
His enemies, they know they place, but his friends, like his soldiers, you know, he trusted them. He trusted them so much that he couldn't even see that they wasn't loyal.
You saying that you saw that?
It was so good that I didn't even see it.
I believe why things got worse with him is his involvement with other entities other than what everybody else saw. You know, not for his actions, but for his knowledge.
Honestly, and it's just my opinion, I believe that he knew that he was not going to be here very long. And it was just only like it was like a day-to-day living.
À Brooklyn, on avait la haine contre Kelvin, qui dut se réfugier dans le seul endroit où il pouvait se cacher, l'armée américaine.
He stayed in the army about 6 or 7 months. Maybe about 6 or 7 months, enough to go through basic training and then to have some type of job function while in the military. It was so funny, you know, he sent pictures and just to see this guy in a military uniform and really serious about, you know, like he would say, I'm in the fucking army, bitch, you know, on the bottom of the pictures.
Hey, black ass. I know things should be swinging for you by now if you took my advice and got a job. I miss your black ass so much I could cry. I want you to make some lookouts for me in court, because I don't want them looking for me yet. Well, I hope you find time to write back. If not, fuck you. Send some flicks. Love always, your brother, 5-0.
According to his army records,
Selon
which
les
the
archives de
infamous
l'armée que
Times
nous
has
avons pu
acquired,
obtenir,
Kelvin Martin made
Kelvin
good marks in
Martin,
the military
croyez-le ou
and
pas,
showed promise
avait
for
des
a solid
capacités
career
et une carrière
in the
militaire
US.
prometteuse.
His reason for going in the army was that he was running. He was trying to get away. I can't remember exactly who was trying to kill him at that time, but people were after him. They were after him to the point that he wouldn't come to the house because he thought people were following him, and he knew he just had to go. And his concern was at this time not just himself, but the other people that he had in his life, his family in Fort Greene, his daughter, his godson. You know, he was concerned.
I respect him because you have a lot of individuals that, you know, will run and hide and jeopardize other people, but that's one thing, you know, most of all, he tried to do was keep his family out of it.
However, the long arm of the law eventually caught up with him down in Fort Benning, Georgia.
Il fut démis de l'armée avec les honneurs, mais arrêté pour un forfait non résolu, puis relâché et ramené à New York pour être jugé pour un autre vol. Là, ses vieux démons allaient le rattraper. Désormais, tueur entraîné, 50 Cent était encore plus dangereux. Acculé et ayant appris de nouveaux trucs à l'armée, il maniait bien mieux les armes à feu. Et plus que jamais, il était déterminé à tuer quiconque se mettrait en travers de son chemin, le menacerait lui ou sa famille.
I remember 50 being shot in the mall. 50 had robbed the dude's brother like maybe a month before that. Him and one of his partners. So the guy came back and robbed 50's partner. Then 50 and this other kid came in Albany Projects and shot a hole through the dude's door. Like knocked on the door and waited for somebody to come and just shot a hole through the people. So when 50 saw the guy brother in the mall, he thought it was the dude he robbed, because the brothers look alike, and he tried to approach the young boy, and that's when the kid shot 50. I don't know how long he stayed in the hospital, but that still ain't changing, because when he came out, he was still doing his same shit. I think that might have made him crazier, being shot and not killed.
Why so?
Because usually if you get shot and it don't kill you, you think you're invincible.
He had gotten shot and people believed he was dead. And he just left it that way until he decided to really come back out.
He was shot at Albee Square Mall. Once and survived. As you remember, was he different after that experience?
That's, I believe, when the vests really came into motion. And it wasn't every day that he wore a vest now. I mean, you know, people who start exaggerating. It wasn't every day that he wore a vest, because if that's the case, we wouldn't be sitting here now.
He never tried to pull his coat. Did you see something like he was going too far, man?
Yes, he was going too far. And like, it was hard. It's hard to like direct somebody in that type of atmosphere that's going crazy, robbing, stealing, shooting. I guess the rush for them keeps them doing it. And nothing you can say could stop a person that's getting high on something that's making them feel good.
He knew that people were after him. You know, he knew, you know, it was like, I need to do something or I'm gonna die.
When I seen him, he ain't have a sneaky look about himself. He had more like a humble look. It wasn't the same way he used to be, like ready for anything, sneaky, guns showing, all of that. He was more relaxed and more cool about things.
Did 50 know something was gonna happen to him?
Yes, he knew something was gonna happen to him because he came to Albany Projects to hide out. And when you got 5 boroughs and you've been doing a lot of shit in Brooklyn, it's not good to hide out in Brooklyn. But for him to run to Albany Projects as his last resource to hang out at, I think he felt something coming. Because he might have figured that would be the last place somebody would look for him. It's in the projects in Brooklyn.
He felt it in his heart, in his spirit, and his soul, that he was going to die. I remember talking to him like it was yesterday, and he told me, he said, Eric, you know what, before the year, please listen to me. And he turned around and looked me in my face and said, Eric, please listen to me, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to die before the year's out. Either I'm going to get killed in a police car chase, a shootout, or somebody going to kill me. I'm telling you, dog, I'm going to live and live my life to the fullest right now.
Was there any talk on the street that, you know, something was coming this way? Were there any, like, warnings that you ever saw that he might have been, it was time for him to get out of the game?
Yeah, well, actually, I never heard any talk or anything like that, but the day he got killed, he came around, he do his usual, pull up over here, and I noticed that somebody broke his window, which was crazy. Like, yo, nigga, somebody broke 50 Cent window? Like, that's crazy. So that was like basically a warning right there, you know what I'm saying?
The last thing I remember saying to 50 was, down here in Albany Projects, more than likely you'll be safer here than anywhere else, because no strangers will come down here to try to do anything to you.
Wait, hold on. Nobody just walks up in Albany.
Whoever would do anything to him would have to be somebody he know in order to come in the projects, to hang around the projects, to do anything to somebody in the projects during that time.
Not only that, wouldn't you? Would anybody have to be for a brother like that? Be close to him? To get up to him?
Yes, it would have to be a friend of his to even come in there unannounced or announced or anything, so.
Especially if you on the run. If you hiding out, you're not just gonna let anybody next to you. You ain't gonna let nobody near you unless you know him.
You're right.
Unless you really know that nigga.
As you would expect,
Comme on
there
peut
were
s'y
plenty of
attendre,
giants
de
who had a
nombreux
motive
gros bonnets
for
avec une
having
bonne
50
raison de
Cent
vouloir
wasted,
liquider 50
plenty of
Cent,
wannabe
et beaucoup
giants
de jeunes
itching to
loups
rub 'em out.
voulaient de le
Forgive me
descendre.
for asking this, but back in those days, who had access to an army?
I don't know.
Who would have the balls to do something like that?
I don't know.
Against a giant?
I don't know, honestly.
I know for me, coming from that neighborhood and, you know, being a male, it would have to be another giant or someone who wants to be.
Either way, by this time,
Quoi qu'il en
50
soit,
Cent had
à
made
ce
so
moment-là,
many enemies
50
that
Cent s'était fait tellement d'ennemis que l'identité
the
du tueur
entire
était secondaire.
neighborhood knew why
Le quartier tout entier savait pourquoi il s'était fait tuer. Parce qu'il avait été un sale.
Ultimately, the
En
man
fin
who
de compte,
pulled the trigger was
celui
the
qui a appuyé
giant
sur la
or
gâchette
wannabe giant.
n'était ni un gros
Kelvin
bonnet,
Darnell
ni un
Martin,
jeune loup.
aka 50 Cent,
Kelvin Darnell
shot and
Martin,
killed by
alias
Julio
50 Cent,
Acevedo,
fut tué par
aka
Julio Acevedo, alias Wimo. Il fut contraint à le faire par des criminels inconnus qui kidnappèrent un membre de sa famille et menacèrent de le tuer, à moins que Wimo, l'un des seuls à savoir où se cachait 50 Cent, ne le tue une bonne fois pour toutes. Kelvin fut descendu le vendredi 20 octobre 1987 vers 22h. Il venait de quitter l'appartement de Precious au 13e étage d'Albany Project. Quelques minutes plus tard, un voisin ayant entendu des coups de feu le trouva seul, vivant mais se vidant de son sang au 7e étage. Martin avait plusieurs blessures par balle, dont l'une à l'arrière de la tête. Il fut emmené en urgence à l'hôpital Brooklyn Kings. Il resta en soins intensifs sous protection policière jusqu'à ce que son état s'améliore et l'on crut même qu'il s'en sortirait. Il fut ensuite transféré dans une unité de soins généraux, mais son état empira subitement. Kelvin, 50 Cent, Martin mourut le 24 octobre 1987. Il n'avait que 23 ans.
Were you shocked to find out that he was murdered?
I was shocked to find out that he died.
Why those choice of words? What's the difference to you?
To go in depth, it was from being ICU, you know, with the mask and him mumbling words and the police protection and coming back 2 to 3 days later, police gone, him in a regular trauma area, and to die after that. That was the most traumatizing of it all. Because once I seen that he made it through ICU and the hard time was over, you know? I knew he was gonna get better, but it was one thing that he just kept saying, that don't leave him there.
Did 50 feel that someone was going to try to finish what they started while he was in the hospital?
I mean, he wasn't direct with it, but he didn't want to stay there.
You know that something eventually is going to happen to this guy, but you just didn't want it to happen. It came to a shock.
Did you see certain things from the outside looking in certain crew members that did not feel right?
I mean, only thing that I could say that it took too many people to just kill one person.
Despite rumors to the contrary,
Malgré
no
les
one spat on
rumeurs,
his body,
personne ne cracha sur sa dépouille pendant l'enterrement.
but his family did
Mais sa
receive
famille
several
reçut des
threats
menaces de
at
cette
that
nature.
meeting, and the police detail stood
Un
watch
officier de
during the
police
wake
dut même
and
monter
the
la garde
funeral
pendant la
that
veillée
took place
mortuaire et
at the
l'enterrement.
Robeson Funeral Chapel. Also, he had not been shot 50
On n'avait pas non plus tiré sur lui une cinquantaine de fois, comme le dit la légende, mais au moins 24 fois, en 9 occasions différentes, sans parler des coups de couteau. Il en a encaissé des coups pour un type qui mesurait 1,57 m et qui pesait 50 kg tout mouillé.
So you wasn't surprised when he got murdered?
Knowing the circumstances and knowing the wolves and the foxes and the lions and the tigers that he was around, no, that wasn't a surprise. That you know, usually, you know, when you're in that penitentiary and you get that wire that, yo, they just killed so-and-so. You know, you usually, and especially when you have the kind of lifestyle that 50 had, like I'm sure if that wire came to them about me at that time, you know, you're just not surprised.
When you've already said in your own heart, yo, I know it's over for me. So, you know, I didn't take it any kind of way. I said, you know, he got what he said he wanted.
Is this whole thing a movie?
It's beyond a movie, because who would have thought 16 years later, it's a rapper to come out, the cause of his death, the individuals that was involved.
You know, everybody, you know, started, you know, these rumors, and that was the biggest rumor and biggest, like, it was like an Agatha Christie movie. Who killed 50 Cent? You know what I'm saying? Oh, this person did it, and that person did it, and everybody, you know, it just kept, and up until today, you know, it's kind of surprising that everybody, you know, wants to talk about it, because it's always been like a hush-hush. Nobody wanted to talk about it because of the ill feelings that, you know, that went around, and the rumors that went around in circle.
How should he be remembered? Say, like, maybe a statue on the corner of, like, say, Fulton and Kingston, and like a gun in one hand, and maybe like his heart being opened up with just all kind of things filtering from the heart, like from money to Pampers to food, you know, because he didn't only do good things for me, he did it for other people.
I mean, I would do anything just to have him in my life. I mean, it would be better if he was here. And that's just the way I feel. That's how much love I have for him.
I would say two things to him. I would say one thing, that I was wrong about the projects being safe for you, because they dealt with you in the projects. And another thing I would say is, you didn't have to be so crazy to be known.
I think that's how he probably want to be remembered, as a nigga who put his work in, you know, as a nigga who went for his, you know, even though he was a small dude, he stood up, you know, and that's probably, you know, the way he died and everything else is, you got some people who rather just die like that. They don't want a heart attack. They don't want to be in a deathbed off of sickness. You know, some people would just rather go out with the glory of a bang.
Is there anything that you would like to see done by 50 Cent the rapper?
Something like in memories, you know, of my father, and I just want, you know, 50 to stick around. I mean, he's not, you know, no kind of relation to me, but, you know, family-wise, anything, but just stick around.
The 50 I met that didn't have no money, that was still struggling and was coming up in the game, was a great person. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to see him take those same great qualities and mentor, you know, his daughter, you know what I'm saying, and take her under his wing and say, yo, this is gonna be my godchild, and we're gonna rock as a family.
So, last thing I wanna ask you is, if you could say something to 50, whether he's here now or just beyond the grave, what would you say to him?
That you'll never be forgotten. You know, and I'd be dead serious about it, because I see to it.
Malheureusement, 50 Cent étant mort sans le sou et brouillé avec sa famille, nos producteurs ont voulu faire un geste pour ses proches en mettant une pierre tombale à l'emplacement où il fut enterré.
Only thing I could really say is that song stay in my mind. We only just begun, the romance is not over. It was like, it was a new future. I just had a baby, and I had so much to look forward to, you know, becoming a new mother, and there's so many words to really describe it, you know. I was just happy, just happy.
If it was something I would say is that, you know, small people do big things. Your size really doesn't make a difference by, you know, to the respect that's given. And the smaller you are, it seems like the bigger the things or the bigger the impact that you place on people.
The warning would be, if you're gonna be in the streets, robbing, killing, selling drugs, then expect to either die in the streets or end up in jail, one way or the other. Either your friends will tell on you or your time will run out. I'm a witness to it because I started out with a crew of maybe 20, and out of the 20 guys I started out with, maybe 9 is dead, 5 might have been killed. The rest is in jail, not on their own, was told on by other members of different places or whatever. So it's like a domino effect. One block falls and it knocks the rest down.
But we in the streets, we kind of feel like we could always be that nigga. That nigga watching them Scarface movies, but we don't want to do what Scarface did. We ain't gonna go against Sosa. You know, we feel like if we get to the Scarface level, we gonna be cool with everybody. But it doesn't even work like that, man. You know what I'm saying? That shit is fairy tale. That shit is in books, that shit is in movies. Ain't no happy endings to that shit, and that's what 50 had to find out.
Ce qui est tragique dans la vie, ce n'est pas qu'elle finisse trop tôt, c'est qu'on attend trop longtemps avant de la commencer. En fin de compte, 50 Cent avait 22 ans quand il s'autorisa enfin à vivre en tant que Kelvin Martin. Avec la naissance de 2 filles juste avant sa mort prématurée, c'était un jeune papa qui envisageait d'abandonner sa vie instable, jusqu'à ce que ses soi-disant amis l'exécutent. Ça prouve que les malfrats n'ont pas d'honneur et qu'une mort violente est inéluctable. Cela dit, la plupart des gens ont si peur de mourir qu'ils ne se décident jamais à vivre. C'était Infamous Times, la série DVD la plus controversée des États-Unis. À la prochaine, pour un nouveau portrait d'un des truands qui ont marqué notre époque. On vous fait entrer dans les entrailles des quartiers les plus connus du pays et on vous décrit les gloires et les déboires de ces vies hors normes. Je suis Bones Malone, repris de justice.
Work.